Hi, folks. Welcome to class for March 20th, 2020. I have been kind of open here now for almost a half hour and nobody's logged in unless you caught me when I ran upstairs really fast. This is one of my little guys here that I've been chatting about so often. Say hi. 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 Do you see yourself? That's what you look. Yep. Okay. Just really fast. I don't want to be on too long. Again, where you should be is going right into here on, I'm gonna move myself over here, right here in the main navigation, schedule and assignments. And if you haven't done this yet, please do go and check it out. I am having some bandwidth issues. Right here at the top where this folder is, it says remote instruction folder post March 15th. This is where we're going to be looking for all of our content going forward from now. And then this week's project, so I'm going to set this up as week by week. You'll see there's a little note here about how things will go from now on. For each week, there'll be a guiding question, readings and content to review, a journal, and an assignment. And you'll see here I have this other folder that's been blacked out. That's assessments. I'm still considering that. Each week you'll want to start with your guiding question. And what guiding questions are just a way for me to help frame some of our discussions that we're having over the course of time. So I'll often ask you these, and you might not even know that I do it, but it's just to kind of help frame our discussions. So this week's, and I should change this to like week 1, but this week's guiding question is, how has the coronavirus impacted your business? So specifically for your projects, and just a couple of sub questions there to consider. So you don't have to turn anything in for these questions. This is just something to think about. Like, so, in the real world, what's going on with your business in terms of this stuff? And then, I'm sorry, I truly am having bandwidth issues. So let's just be patient for the computer to roll this stuff out. This folder will contain the readings and content to review for each week. And this week, I have not put extra reading and content in here because you've already got a ton of it. So what I'd like you to do is just look around. So there's content about COVID-19 everywhere. How are people framing their messages? How do you think businesses should be framing their messages? And then I asked you to watch our Zoom meeting for a little bit more content, and you can see that in the banner of the homepage. And that is currently up in case you didn't get a chance to see it. There is also a playlist on YouTube for all of these. So if you miss one, if I pull it down, if you just go to YouTube directly, you'll be able to watch the other videos that I'm putting up there. In the journals folder, we've also been doing these in class. And you'll see there'll be a link. So this week there's the week 1 journal, and I've asked you to jump in and just have a bit of a reflection on all of this stuff that's going on. So you would read this journal prompt. Please remember to use complete thoughts, correct punctuation and grammar matter. And then right here where it says create new journal entry, that's where you would click into and you would type your response regarding the questions that I've posed here. And then finally, I have to back out this way because that'll take me to a different spot. Then finally, for the week, there's an assignment folder. So within this assignment folder, I did talk about this on March 18th, and I've embedded that video right here into this email assignment. So you'll want to go through and watch this. You can fast forward through some of the stuff because I was just asking how people are, and I want to know how you are. Hopefully you all are doing well. This is the assignment. I'd like you to review upon review of this week's questions and journal completion, please draft an email update from your organization, personality, entity, etc., to your mailing list regarding important updates about coronavirus. I went into more detail about this project during our March 18th broadcast, so you can watch it here. But for your email, please review some of the emails you've received from companies/organizations you're affiliated with. Do you see the pattern? So generally, again, when we're talking about business communication and certainly with crisis communications, there's two types of messaging that we share with people. So we have good news messages and we have bad news messages, and there's actually a format to those messages. And within a good news message, this is like, hey, you won the lottery, or you're our millionth customer, you know, things like that would be considered good news messages, and those are framed in one way. And then bad news messages are like collections letters, things that tell you like, uh-oh, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to give you the service that we promised you that we would be able to. And those are framed very much in the same way that these emails are written. And there is definitely a steady pattern coming out. So I think if you were to go through and just check out a couple of emails, you'll start to see it. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to ask you in paragraph 1, I should, before that, make sure that you have a greeting. So here it says, dear valued customer. You know, you might say, dear super fan. You know, I'm not sure how it relates specifically to your business, but find something that does relate and put a greeting line in. And then you'll have paragraph 1 / your introduction. You want to communicate the importance of this email to your audience. For example, here's an email that I got from National Grid. So right up here, it talks about the importance of this message. And then in paragraphs 2 and 3, it tells us how this information has impacted your audience directly. So in the above example, that's done with a bulleted list, and the list goes on below. So first of all, within this message, they led with the good news. So, okay, here are the things that you can stop worrying about immediately. So we're still going to have emergency response, electricity and gas, customer service, customer requested service, regular billing, and the ability to make payments. All that's good. Here's where we're getting into a little bit of things that are getting paused. And so that's kind of how they framed it. And it just depends on what you think would be the most important for your audience as you craft your own messages. Paragraph 5 / your closing. In this space, please provide your audience with a message of sincerity and let them know how and when they'll receive updates. And so you'll see here, we appreciate your attention to this information and value your support. For updates and information on this evolving situation, please continue to visit nationalgrid.com /COVID and look for updates on our Facebook and Twitter pages. So they're telling you, like, you know, we're not hiding. Public relations is about being in front of things, telling the truth, doing it as effectively as possible and as quickly as possible, as truthfully as possible. So they're not hiding behind anything. They're trying to be pretty transparent here. Then finally, I want you to include a signature line, because you know your emails do include those, and it is a direct correspondence. So consider whom should send this email to your audience. Who is that person? In most cases, this is the senior most official in a given department. As you can see below, National Grid decided this message should come from their customer service department. So the chief customer officer is the one who's sending this message. Considering your organization, who should send the message you crafted come from? You don't necessarily need a complex format. Emails are usually written in a block format, and that's what this looks like. This is a block format as well. You'll see that the first line of the paragraph is not indented. It all kind of lines up on that left margin. The only time you see an indent here is when we have these numbered lists. And that's nice too. There's internal headings. You can use that within your own email. It's a nice way to make the message itself a little bit easier to read. And again, this is the block format without a bulleted list. It's the greeting and then a space. And then all of this is single spaced, and that's important here too. When we get into double spacing, while your instructors really like that, it's because we want to be able to write notes in between what you're writing. For this, we don't need to respond to this by writing notes within the text, so single spacing is preferred. Also, please remember that punctuation, spelling, and grammar do count. Obviously, if you send out something that has glaring errors in it, during a time of crisis like this, there's a lot more that's getting questioned than just your reaction to the crisis. So let's be cognizant of that as you're crafting your messages. And as always, please let me know if you have any questions about this. I think since we assigned this work on Wednesday, that's when it will be due. So next Wednesday, which is March 25th, will be when this week 1 information is due. And I'll start to populate week 2 for those of you who've gotten ahead of this and want to get into the next week's work, just to give you some sense of this. So I'm going to go ahead and update this with that greeting line and that you have a sense of when things are due. And again, guys, if you need anything from me, I'm here, so please don't hesitate to come and chat with me. I'm online for my office hours, and you can send me an email. Okay, I hope you're all well. Take care.